Do you want more? More time, more balance, more love, more sex, more money, more real, and less bullshit? This is the Women Wanting More podcast with Dr. Karen Osborne. Real life, real stories, plus real tips to get you more of what you want.
All right, sister. So let's go here today. Let's talk about why honesty is an act of love. And in the world that we now live in, where so many of us, if not, I feel, even if unconsciously, all of us are dying for the truth, are dying to keep it real. You know, I remember when I was coaching and I was running live events, or was doing virtual group coaching, and they were both of those types of coaching experiences were by application. And so once that woman got through the process, filled out a form, I saw that she was serious, took the time to do that, kind of like, you know, she passed through the different steps. Then I would get on the phone when that was the last part of the application process. And the first question I often would ask women is just simply this, is why are we on this call right now? And I'll tell you, sisters, so many women said to me, I just need you to tell me the truth. I just need to be, you know, I put out a podcast episode kind of way back, which was something like why I'm punching women in the face. And I had a coach at the time that was just like, listen, Karen, you got to punch these women in the face with the truth. This is even before I was boxing. So like, but like, you got to hit them with the truth, you know? And when I put that out, it was like probably 1 in 4 women after that I would get on the phone with that were applying for one of my coaching experiences would say, I want you to punch me in the face. Meaning of like, just tell me the truth. And, you know, we can look at it from that example and say, okay, well, someone's getting on the phone with me. Maybe they feel like, you know, they are familiar with me. They've been hearing my voice on the podcast. They've been following me in other areas. They've been, you know, maybe they do actually know me. They've met me at some point. But yet there's not that real familiarity with each other or a real relationship that's there, at least yet, to kind of, it's almost like, you know, to tell people the truth when you don't know them is somewhat easier. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's kind of like when there's that unsolicited advice that a lot of people, and maybe this is you, feel that it's okay to give in an online way, meaning let me just post something on Facebook, let me just send this person this message, let me just, the unsolicited stuff, which is, you know, we've both experienced this, which is the most fucking annoying because you didn't ask for it, right? But yet there's almost like there's like I don't know, an ease to it. There's a this is what it is. There's no commitment involved. Like you maybe will never ever meet this person in person. What's the worst that's going to happen? They get pissed off. They block you on Facebook or IG or something. I don't know. Or they maybe just tell you in a message like, please stop this. Or I don't know. But there's not a lot of risk involved. Now, let's consider another situation. You actually have a face-to-face with your spouse about what you need to be honest about. Your sister, your mother, your friend. Ooh, it's a whole new flavor now, isn't it? It's a harder thing face-to-face. And I can bet you, too, a lot of those people that posted on Facebook or some of these women that leave me nasty reviews on iTunes about the podcast, and you can read them, all sorts of crazy stuff that's out there, would never say that shit to my face. Ever. And I think that, you know, people being really honest with how they feel is not only difficult, right? Easy to be the keyboard warrior, but difficult face-to-face. Difficult when it's in a relationship that matters to you, right? Husband, sister, mother, best friend, one of your kids' teachers. Difficult now because there is a risk involved. Is this going to end the relationship, the friendship? Is this going to upset them? Is this going to, you know, piss them off in any way? Are they going to judge me? Are they going to think this way? But my belief is, and my experience has been, is that when you come from that place of, listen, like, I need to be honest with something, either something that person is saying or doing that's not okay. Maybe it's a boundary I need to enforce, or I need to, make clear about, or I just need to create, or I need to hold them accountable to. Maybe it's just something that, has happened and you need to clear the space. Maybe it's something that has happened and you're willing to let it go, but it is an honest conversation, aka difficult conversation, that you need to have for them. And I want you to consider this going into these conversations, is that although I think we can probably both agree, and we've all had these conversations where we're like, oh God, I'll do it next week, I'll do it tomorrow, like, I just don't want to talk about it, it's easier to just brush it on the rug. No, if you don't face those conversations you need to have, they're going to surface. But I want you to consider this, is that those conversations, honesty, is actually an act of love. Now, I don't mean the solicited advice. Hey, you know what? Here's what I think that you really need, Karen. Here's what I think you should really do. I've had people message me all sorts of stuff, and I know they're trying to be helpful. Like, I get it. But there's also a reason why they're sending it to me in a private message. There's got to be some kind of either a knowing or some kind of unconscious knowing that it's probably not okay, but I'll just send it to them like in a private message, and then nobody will see it, and then somehow that's, But honesty, true honesty, with the intention of wanting to be heard and seen, with the intention of, let me help you understand where I'm coming from, and then I will be open to understand and listen to where you're coming from. So we can come to a resolution, so we can really connect with one another. That when you come with that intention, that's an act of love. That's an act of love. It is a loving act to be honest with another human being. And I'm also going to be considered too, it's a rare thing, isn't it? People will kind of skirt around the issue, and I know when I meet with my therapist, and he's amazing. He's amazing. Sometimes we'll kind of want to do a little bit of small talk, and I'm like, listen, I can't do that. Like, just cut to the chase, right? Or I've had like something's happened with one of my kids at their school, and I get a call from the principal, the teacher, and it's like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, this is happening. And there's like a little bit of a sugarcoating. I'm like, please don't do that. Like, just hit me with the truth. Let's just cut to the chase. Let's just get there. Let's have an honest conversation about whatever's happening and then what we need to do. Because honesty is an act of love. Hiding behind, lying, not really telling the whole story, downplaying maybe something that's not okay, that's not an act of love. That's deception. That is you not wanting to have the uncomfortable experience because you're so afraid. And to me, and I know these like deception, dishonoring, these might seem like harsh things, but I want you to just consider, the next time you're thinking about things that you need to be honest about, it's like, if we can simply reframe this whole thing and see it as a loving act to tell the truth to someone, as painful as it might be, as difficult as it might be, as it might be that you don't want to have it, it is the most loving act to do that for another human being. And for yourself. Because listen, we both had situations where something comes up and maybe someone says like, oh, like, is that okay with you and stuff? Can you do the same for me? And you're like, yeah, sure, no problem. Are you sure it's not trouble? Are you sure it's not too much work? And they've given you that little opening where you probably maybe you don't have time. You don't want to do that fucking thing. But you're saying yes out of, you feel you have to, like obligation, what people think, this is what's expected of me, but you're not honoring what you truly want, what your truth is. And then you walk away from that situation, what happens? Oh, fuck. You start to beat yourself up about it. Then you start to go to regret. And then, guess who starts to now come along? Anger, resentment. Oh, I'm doing this thing. I didn't even want to do it. They should be thankful for that. Really? Because you said you were happy to do it. How are they supposed to know you were lying? So you think that this delaying of the truth or not telling the truth is somehow going to be this like win situation. But oh no, because again, here comes the anger, the resentment, the frustration, the impatient, the passive aggressive comments. Because you did not honor your own truth. See, the most loving thing that you can do is to be honest with others and with yourself. So at my school, I don't know if you have kids, but at my school, they're always looking for volunteers for, can you drive, the kids can be one of the drivers for, a class trip, or schools just don't have a lot of funding like they used to for buses and, all this kind of stuff. And so parents are often asked to help out. And, I don't have the title of stay-at-home mom. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going with business. I'm still writing. And quite honestly, I just don't want to. I need to have space from my kids. It's just it. I'm really, I'm okay with that. It is something that I've come to understand. I tried to fit into a different model. I tried to this is what I should do, or this is what's, would be the right thing to do. And I was just like, listen, this doesn't work for me. And so when there's those things that come up, which is a couple times a month for each child, can you help out? Can you bring in, sometimes it might be, there was a baking thing or some little treat thing they're asked maybe the kids to, bring in for something for Kai's kindergarten. I may do that one. I may not. But I'm certainly not going to show up and do the field trip thing when it's just I just don't want to do that stuff. And if I was to do that stuff, I'm going to show up with an attitude. I'm going to be pissed off. I'm going to feel resentful. That's going to be impacting now, my husband who's in the space, and now I'm in that mood, or my kids, and no. Honesty is the most loving act that you can perform. It is the most loving thing you can do for another human being. And love is not always comfortable. Love isn't about everything being, romantic and sweet and the perfect family and your besties that will do anything for you. And no, that's not always what that looks like. It makes for a great TV show or a movie or, but that's not real. Relationships can be messy. Marriage, parenting, friendships, family, it's not easy. Who says it's supposed to be, smooth, never any fighting? Says who? Because that hasn't been my experience with life or pretty much anybody that I know. But what I believe is expected of you, what I believe is always the right thing, if I can use that so boldly, the right thing to do, when it comes to relationships with any people in your life, is to tell the truth, is to be honest. So here's your more tip for today. There's someone in your life right now that I know when I mention this that you want to have an honest conversation and you've been avoiding it. So I want you to first identify who is that person that you need and want to have this honest conversation with, but you've been afraid. You're like, oh, the timing's not right. What will they think? You've stopped for some reason. So number one is, who is that person? Number two, what is the thing that you need to share with them? And number three, I want you to schedule a time to do that in the next 48 hours. Now you might be like, oh, but Karen, there are holidays now, I can't do. Okay, there's going to be a few exceptions, but listen, the reason that I say this in a shorter period of time is that if we go, hey, in the next 2 weeks do this, you won't do anything. And human beings, we tend to be, unless there's a fire under our ass, there often won't be motivation to actually move. So in the next 48 hours, I want you to schedule that conversation. Ask that person to go out for coffee. If it's with you and your spouse, have somebody watch the kids so you can go out and talk or have dinner. If it's, maybe someone doesn't live near you, but just say, hey, can we have a I'd really like to talk to you tomorrow on the phone. Can we do that? Either a phone or a face-to-face, preferably. And to just be honest about whatever that thing is that you need to share with them. Listen, the truth will set you free, but it's not going to be an easy path. And there's other piece of this too. it could actually, you actually are honest about something, and they're like, oh, I was thinking that, or I'm so glad you told me. And you've made this like insane story in your head of what you think will happen if you actually are honest and speak the truth about it. And it ends up being nothing like the horror story you've painted in your mind. So there you go, sisters. So let's kind of review that. Some more tip. Who is that person you need to have that honest conversation about? So name that person. Number 2, what is the thing you need to be honest with them about? So be clear when you're speaking to them. And number 3, schedule that conversation in the next 48 hours. Okay, sisters, finishing up a couple things. Number 1, I would greatly appreciate if this podcast is of value to you to go over iTunes right now and leave a review. I mentioned some of the hater ones that are out there. Let's drown that out with love. Why the hell not, right? So leave a 5-star review, leave a written review. I'm going to ask you, give me like 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes of your day to do this, because those mean something, right? Just to kind of like click it and go, I'll give you like the 5-star or 4, like whatever. But if you can actually even just write, I don't care if it's like a sentence. A lot of people read that, and it'll help other women really find the podcast if they're reading positive things about why this is something good to listen to. And I can help to impact more women with this message, with these stories, with these truths. So that's number 1. Number 2, to thank you, I want you to make sure you get one of the free Women Wanting More limited edition beautiful orange leather-bound journals that I'm going to mail to you. I've got about 35 to 40 left. I can just see there's another 9 that's just come through recently in the last few days. So these are journals I started giving out about a little bit over a year ago. And you take care of a little bit of shipping. I do all the rest for you. And I'm going to send you some other cool Women Wanting More swag with this. And I did this because I know the power of journaling for myself and with clients. So here's your journal so you can get it started. So that is over at drkarenosborne.com/free journal. And if you're not currently receiving the Women Wanting More newsletter, what are you waiting for? Go do that right now. drkarenosborne.com/action guide. So I will talk the next episode, sister. A life of more is just one step away from you doing the most loving thing, which is to be honest with the people in your life every single day. I love and appreciate you.
To get the show notes of each Women Wanting More episode, including the How to Get More tip, subscribe to the newsletter at drkarenosborne.com/newsletter.